Hey guys, what's up? In this video I'm going to be showing you how I did this LeBron drawing. This is one of my favorite pieces I've ever done, and a lot of people wanted to know how I'm able to draw like this at such a young age. So yeah, let's get started. And before this video gets started, I just want to say I highly recommend you guys to subscribe and also like this video. If you like art, you will love my channel and you will also find this video very useful. Also, all my socials in the description, go check them out. Also, if you're interested in buying any of my artwork, I will have my Etsy link in the description. So yeah, go check that out. Without further ado, let's get on to the video. Now getting started on the materials I use for this piece, I use this Faber-Castell 12-piece set of graphite pencils for the black and white part. They're very good pencils, and yeah. Now for the colored portion of the drawing, I use 3 different types of pencils: Prismacolor, Caran-H Luminance, and Faber-Castell. To go along with the pencils on the colored part, I use these Oahu markers. They're alcohol markers, and they really serve well as a base coat and also help with blending. Now for the paper I use Strathmore Bristol Vellum surface paper. I really like this paper. It is very thick and also has great tooth. This is one of the best papers that you can use for my art style, so yeah. Now starting off with the drawing, I started with a 1x1 inch grid across the entire piece of paper. I also added a grid onto the picture I was using the grid app and mashed it up. Using the grid method is very helpful. It helps me get proportions easily and quickly. I can easily get proportions without using the grid method, but this just cuts the time down by so much. So I think it's really worth to use the grid method, so I really recommend doing that. Now once I got the proportions down, I started using a very light pencil between 2H and H just to do some of the starting details on the skin. I just started rendering little parts and just slowly going along. You want to take your time with graphite drawings. The worst thing you can do with graphite ones is just end up smudging the whole piece, and then it just ends up looking bad. But yeah, I recommend to start off using a pencil on the harder side, which is like the H's and below, because they can really help you get a very smooth texture. Because with a softer pencil, you get the tooth look. It kind of gets like a grainy look. But with the H pencils and the harder pencils, you don't get that. But it does take a lot more time to build up the shadows and stuff like that. But yeah, I recommend starting with a harder pencil and then building your way up to use those softer pencils that are much darker as the drawing goes on. Now getting started with the color portion, I just laid down a nice base coat of red throughout the entire part that was red. Doing this really helps you just get color down on the paper and really cuts the time almost in half, because using colored pencils takes almost more time than using graphite. So after I put the base coat of the alcohol markers down, I started layering my colored pencils on there and make the different shadows and highlights. And then I also went over top with either clear alcohol marker or a color alcohol marker to blend the actual pencils together, which really helps. There's multiple ways to blend colored pencils other than using alcohol markers. You can use mineral spirits, or you can use the colorless blenders that come in the Prismacolor sets. Also, for graphite pencils, you do not want to use what I just said. You want to use either a paintbrush, like a clean paintbrush, or you want to use one of the graphite blenders. But if you're going to use those, you got to make sure you are careful with them, that you don't smudge your drawing. So yeah, colored pencils and then the graphite pencils, which are the black and white ones, are completely different things. You do not want to use the same blenders for them. Now getting started with the background, I use a mix of a 2B pencil and a 4B pencil to do the background. I started off with the 2B pencil and rendered in, and then I went over with the 4B pencil to make it a lot darker and smoother. Finally, I went over with the smudging stick and made the whole thing look a lot smoother. Now for a background like this, you want to make sure you take your time. You want to make sure everything looks smooth and crisp and clean. So taking the extra 30 minutes to an hour to make sure everything looks clean and crisp, like the numbers, is very worth it. So I recommend using a ruler for the numbers and just stuff like that, just to make them look very clean. So here's the final piece. As I said, I think this drawing turned out incredibly well. It is one of my favorite pieces. And yeah, I really hope you guys found this video helpful. A drawing like this does take a lot of time and effort and practice to get right, but once you get it, I guarantee you can do it. By the way, prints of this artwork will be available on the link in the description. It's on my Etsy shop, so yeah, go check that out if you want. If you guys enjoyed this video or find it helpful in any way, I really encourage you to subscribe and like this video. I'm planning on posting a new art video every week, but if you want to follow my art journey and also stay up to date, then go subscribe. Yeah, thanks for the support and peace.